the basket. James catches, puts up a three. Won't go. Rebound box. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining.
Welcome to the Ultimate Super Coach and Fantasy Sports Show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Boom shakalaka!
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Insight NBA Show on the Insight Podcast Network. I'm the SC underscore Mattrix, and today I am here with SC Big Horse and SC Brain. Mate, tell me about the Broncos. No,
I don't want to talk about the
we're
Broncos.
For the NBA show. We don't need to talk about the West Tigers either. For those of you in America, I do an NRL show with Braino, and I have never done an NBA show. So, today we're doing a mock draft. Big Horse, what are we doing today?
Well, courtesy of the guys at the Standard Squeeze, I'm just enjoying a Jamo out of my 4-in-1. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
But
I've
what
got
we're
my,
doing is
4-in-1 here as well.
Good man. As we can see in the background, what we're doing, guys, is we're going to be conducting a mock draft via Yahoo, and we're going to be using our partners and friends at Fantasy Scores to assist us in showing you how punting categories works. So we've all been given one category to punt. For me, I'll be punting rebounds. For the big Matty O, he's punting points. And for Braino, he's punting assists.
Yeah,
Should be pretty easy to punt assists, I would have thought.
Yeah, you've got the easy one.
Yeah.
Mate, look, I know that you take the easy road there, but everything becomes easy with Fantasy Scores. So basically you can integrate with your Yahoo League. I'm doing it for the first time tonight, actually. And you pick your punt categories, and it gives you an outlook that if you were to take that category out, where your players slide up and down the draft. So I'm pretty excited for it, to be honest. Just having a look at the first 3 guys that I've got, it actually moves Anthony Davis up to the third best player if you were punting points, which... You know what? I wouldn't have really thought about that. So, look, Fantasy Scores, get $5 off using the code INSIGHT. Seems pretty good to go with NBA. What position are you picking from, Brainer?
I am picking from 9. So, I've got a few options there at the back end of the first round. So, punting assists, relatively easy. I mean, when you're punting assists, you're not looking at those guys, there's a lot of point guards, I guess, in the first round and probably in the first 2 rounds that are probably off the board for me when I'm punting assists. So, guys like Joel Embiid, obviously still up there. I'm not going to get him, but back end, it's actually pushed up Jaren Jack Jr. into the 5th highest player in this draft in terms of rank for me now that I'm punting assists based on rankings. So he's gone up 7 spots for me. So he would be an option at the back end of the first round. Kevin Durant's an option. And also maybe someone like Porzingis as well. So I've got a fair bit to pick there.
Mate, where are you picking from, Mick?
I'm picking from the 4 spot, somewhere that I haven't picked in a mock draft yet. I've entered that I'm punting rebounds into my punt categories via the Fantasy Scores website. And it's projecting Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to be my number 1 pick. So hopefully he makes his way to the 4th spot. And a top 4 of Shai, Kevin Durant, Tyrese Halliburton, and Lillard rounds out the top 4 for me.
Yeah, I actually hate picking from the 4th spot. I think that there's I suppose 3 clear guys to pick from the start, and I think that's going to be really hard. I actually might be playing in a little bit of a sniping game with Braino at the end. I'm selecting from the 12th. I haven't done it yet, but I always usually start picking from the end of the draft. So let's see how it goes. Look, keeping our punting categories in check there. I think we're going to be going all right tonight. So,
Who have you got in mind, Nate? Who would you like for you to slip to the 9th pick?
I would love to pick up. I mean, realistically, I think there's a chance I might be able to get Jaren Jackson. Don't know whether I will, but AD seems to be slipping a fair bit, and AD is the second highest ranking on my board at the moment. So I might be able to tag AD at the 9th pick. I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be upset with that. He's probably the target for me.
What do you think, Matty?
How about yourself, mate?
Oh, look, when I pick at 12th, I just wait to see who falls to me, to be completely honest. I think it's a bit more relevant for the 4th pick. What are you thinking, Mick?
Yeah, SGA. If he gets to me, then yeah, he'll be locked in. I think we've spoken about it before in this podcast that you can't go in with a solid draft strategy because things change all the time, and you've got to be willing to change your thought process as you go. Otherwise, you're fucked. Like there's no other way to put it. As he cracks another stubby, you've got to be willing to be flexible, and you've got to be willing to go another way with your draft picks. So come in with an open mind. Yeah, you can have targets that you can choose from, but you're not just drafting one way. You have to be flexible in the way you go about this.
Mate, that's saucy, just telling me to come in with an open mind. So, Nikola Jokic with the 1st pick, Joel Embiid with the 2nd pick, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander still there on Mick's board. Look, it's saying that Luka Doncic is going to be the next pick. With these mock drafts, we have seen the 3rd pick get a little bit spicy. So I'm interested to see what comes up.
And he's still there. So SGA making his way to the big horses at number 4.
I'm not actually sure that I love Jason Tatum at the 3rd pick.
No, I don't. I'm with you. Do you think there's more value in, say, a Tyrese Halliburton or a Luka Doncic over Tatum?
There's definitely more upside. You definitely don't lose anything by getting Tatum. And I like it. I like it at the 6th pick. I just think if I've got the 3rd pick that I'm going elsewhere. As we see Halliburton and Luka Doncic going off the board, Braino, Davis is still on the board.
And I'm grabbing him. So that kind of fits perfectly into my plan. I'll take him at the 9th pick. LaMelo Ball and Steph Curry went 7th and 8th. So a lot of point guards flying off the board nice and early, and that suits me perfectly.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what's happening here. Kevin Durant's still there. Giannis is still there. Jaren Jackson Jr. is there. I don't know. I think that I will be leaning towards maybe a Giannis in a, I suppose, in a punt points build. I know that he does score points, but I suppose where he excels is in those rebounds and blocks and I suppose out of position assists and everything like that. So
what I do want to bring up, boys, and you can probably see this from your screens, but via the Fantasy Scores website, as the draft goes, the players that get picked get blacked out. There's a refresh button that you can click and it automatically uploads and shows you who the next best pick for you will be. So there's a category, or there's categories there where you can click on what you're punting or what you hope to punt. And then down below, it just shows you from 1 through to 500 or however low it goes, the order as to what statistically the best players are for you and your draft style.
Yeah, I like it. After Braino had his pick, Anthony Edwards, Kyrie Irving went off the board. I've elected to pick up Giannis Antetokounmpo and Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant probably wasn't on my radar, to be honest, until I went and, I suppose, used that app. But Kevin Durant brings up those extra stats. I suppose he's super efficient, hits your threes. He does get your points, but still just gets those rebounds and assists and everything just because he plays so much. Giannis and Durant, pretty heavy start from me. I'm pretty happy with it. Lead us into your pick, Nathan.
Yeah, so I've got a few options here. Initially, I was looking at Dame Lillard. I know that he obviously is not a bad shout when it comes to assists, but he's definitely not a guy that's going to put up 10 plus. The guy I'm looking at and I'm going to take is Donovan Mitchell. Fits my punt assists build. He's going to get me points. He's going to get me threes. I like him there, especially with this punt assist build.
It's hard, because I think that one of your best guys would have been maybe Sabonis, and then Lillard got taken off the board. But Dono's a good pick, regardless of punting at 16. I think.
Yeah, I mean, he does everything he
is.
needs to do. He's the main guy over in Cleveland, isn't he? He's going to be the one that gets the ball in his hand a lot. He's going to his usage is going to be through the roof as it always is. So, and he's pretty durable as well. He plays a lot of games, and I'm happy with that with my second.
After this update through Yahoo and even ESPN, Jaren Jackson Jr. is going in a little bit more reasonable, I suppose. I always considered him a 25th that sort of pick, but it's good to see him just not going at the turn anymore. We've gone Devin Booker, Trae Young, Jaren Jackson Jr., and James Harden, and we're leaning into Micks pick. You've got 20 seconds, mate. You can tell me to F off if you want, but
no, I'm not. I'm
what's
not
going through your mind?
I've just refreshed my fantasy scores, and it's clear that Fred VanVleet would be the best player on my side right now. So we've gone with him with my next pick. So I've gone a little bit guard heavy to start off with SGA and VanVleet, but that's okay. My pick's going to come around very quickly the way that this is going. There's a couple of auto picks going on.
So you've gone Fred, then Mikal Bridges, Paul George, Jimmy Butler, LeBron James, and Cade Cunningham, who I actually haven't seen go this early yet. I was looking at Cade a bit later on, but talk us through after Desi got picked.
Yep, can do. So I'll pick up Kawhi, who'll fit in nicely with the big horses. Again, we've got no centers or power forwards, but that's fine. After my pick, Karl Anthony Towns has been picked up at 29. That's not a bad area for Cat, I reckon. Given that, what was he last year? He was consensus fourth pick. His ADP was 4 or 5 last year. So at 29, that's extremely nice value, I reckon. Gobert's just fallen off a cliff, hasn't he? Like when you're talking about his defense, he gets rebounds, he gets blocks, but his sideways or his lateral movement on defense is shot, which is going to deteriorate or make his blocks come down. He's less valuable on the floor. I think he's going to be more of a hindrance for the Timberwolves than what he is going to be effective.
Yep.
Jordan Poole at 30. Jesus.
That's way too early.
Yeah, that's way too early. You just start to take 30th is his peak. I like to take people where I could get a bit of value.
Mm-hmm.
So refreshing my fantasy scores at the moment, it's looking like I'm looking at either Kristaps Porzingis or Lauri Markkanen. I'm going to take Markkanen. I feel like even if he does produce what he produced last year, I think we're in a pretty good spot grabbing him in the third round. He's got that top 20 upside. He's going to have the ball in his hands. We've seen that from last year. So I'm going to grab him with my third pick.
I like this. Just playing around with these fantasy scores website, and you can actually click. So I've gone shooting guard, point guard, small forward with my first 3 picks. And given that I'm punting rebounds, that's not too bad. But I've got to pick up power forwards or centers at some point in time. There's actually a tab here where you can click power forward and center and still keep your punt categories on. And it shows you exactly who is best for your squad as well. This is elite.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. I'm going to elect to go Miles Turner. I'll shore up some rebounds, and I'm just going to double down on the bigs. I'm going to get Bam Adebayo in. Look, I just don't think Nick Claxton is that good at basketball. Regardless of whether I'm tanking points or not, I won't be getting Nick Claxton in this range. Look, if he's sitting there at 70, maybe, but seeing people pick him at 50, look, you've just sometimes just got to pick the better players, and Miles Turner's going to get me a heap of blocks, and Ben Adebayo just always gets me plenty of opportunity. So,
yeah, nice shout. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, basically. You're up next, Nathan. Take us through these picks, Braino.
So we've got, if we're moving backwards, we've got Garland 38th, Bam Adebayo 37th, Miles Turner 36, Fox 35, Jaylen Brown 34, and now I am up with the 40th pick. And I suppose my thought process is I'm probably looking to shore up maybe shooting guard or find another guard position in here somewhere. I mean, is there a better pick on the board at the moment than Jalen Brunson? Probably not. I like Jalen Brunson at 40. I think he's probably got that top 40 upside in New York. Does Julius Randle fall off a cliff? Maybe. Who knows? Who knows whether Julius was going to stay healthy or not? So reasoning is hopefully Brunson healthy carries the Knicks to somewhere in that top 50 or 50 win range for the year.
Well, it won't be glory, so.
No, it definitely won't be glory.
Drew Holiday was taken next. I feel like he's pretty safe. We're about 4 picks away from you, Mick. Punting your category. What are you thinking?
Evan Mobley next. Great defensively. He'll give me blocks. He'll give me steals. Pretty good field goal percentage. Doesn't get a lot of boards, given that you've got Jared Allen and the likes in there. So I don't mind it. But 2 picks away, he's probably going to go.
Yep.
Let's cross our fingers and toes that he makes his way to me. But even like, and he's still there. What a man. Evan Mobley on his way. Victor Wembanyama went at 44. Porzingis went at 43. Vucevic went at 42. Mobley to my team at 45.
I rate Mobley. Like, he does ruin your free throw percentage as well. But those blocks, that upside, just picking a young player that I think is going to get a lot of opportunity as well. Yeah, look, it's going to be better than next year. I think he's just a bloke that's going to keep getting better and better.
Now, I need a center.
You can slide into my DMs. I've got plenty.
It's telling me Brook Lopez is great for punting rebounds, but I feel like his age is probably going to get the better of him this year. I want someone that's going to play all the time. I might pick the fuck you guy. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah. Look, he could be there.
No, I'm not actually. I've just refreshed my page. Şengün.
Yeah, right.
Şengün at 52.
Because I hate that.
Tell me why.
I just have never seen him be that good. Like, the hype around Şengün is better than actually watching Şengün play. And he still plays for the Rockets. And even though they've got additions of, Canadian All-Star Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet, the worst shooting guy in the world, I'm just not sure the Rockets are even that better after spending that much money. I mean, maybe they miss shots and Şengün gets the rebound, but their coaches have never actually played him enough minutes for me to even consider him in this range.
I think the Rockets got better by one person who shall remain nameless, potentially not playing for the rest of his NBA career there.
Yeah, okay. As we go through, we've got Jamal Murray, Chet Holmgren, DeMar DeRozan, OG Anunoby, Walker Kessler, Tyrese Maxey. We had Şengün, we had Klacko, we had Zion early, DeAndre Ayton, Brandon Ingram. Who'd you take, Braino?
I took Jared Allen for obvious reasons. He's not renowned to pass the ball too much. He's going to shore up my block category that I feel like I'm probably trailing in a little bit at the moment. So I also needed a center. I had a couple of I had a power forward, small forward, guard, and a point guard. So I thought I'll get a big man on my books, and he fit the bill. Probably the best center on the board there. And then we've just seen Brook Lopez go straight after that, and Josh Giddey at 59, which I've seen Josh Giddey going around this 60 mark in a lot of mocks that I've done. What are your thoughts on Giddey? Because Australian buy probably kicking in. Are we as high on Giddey as everybody else is?
I have heard a lot of people talk about in our comments that Josh Giddey's taking in and around that 80 range for Americans. Maybe it is recency bias and the fact that, but I think it's more that we've seen a lot more of him, and we've seen a lot more of him playing fantastic basketball. So we're a little bit more high on him. I don't really like him in that 40 to 50 range, but I do like him in this 60 range.
Yeah, I think I'd probably take him maybe late 60s if he fell that far. I don't know whether I want to take him in the 50s though, personally.
Yep. Yeah, no, I rate it. I needed to start to get a couple guards when I was selecting at 60. So I went and got friends Wagner and Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones, not a prolific scorer by any stretch of the imagination, but he's going to get the opportunity as a starting point guard. He's going to be passing the ball to blokes like Kyle Kuzma, to Jordan Poole, and I think opportunity knocks in this case. And he's going to be playing a lot more basketball. So I'm excited to get him in my team. Maybe it's a little bit early, but tanking points, like a lot of the guys that are left there, like Paolo Banchero, CJ McCollum, Kyle Kuzma, look, they're going to get points. But I don't need that in this mock draft.
So since, what do we got here? Well, Franz Wagner gone with 60. Is that... Jones has gone 61, keeps refreshing on me. Randall went 62. And then we've got Gobert 63. I took Beal at 64. I just feel like he's going to be the scorer. The name him a point guard, sure, that's all well and good, but we all know that Devin Booker is going to be handling the ball and doing most of the things there, probably being a little bit more of a facilitator in Phoenix this year. So Bradley Beal will still play his role, and I don't think that's going to be a playmaking one over there.
Yeah, good. Scotty Barnes, 65. That's late as well for Scotty Barnes. I've been seeing him late 40s, early 50s. Matty, what do you reckon? Good value there at 65.
Yeah, I think he's sensational value, still sitting there at 65. Even Jalen Williams, I've seen him go a little bit earlier. I hate the Mark Williams pick with PJ Washington.
That's early.
Yeah, like I saw him go undrafted in one that went 144 deep the other day, and I still didn't pick him with my last pick. Look, Chris Middleton's maybe a little bit early. You took Cam Johnson?
I did.
Talk us through it.
Fantasy scores told me to. So he doesn't really rebound too much, but scores the three well, gets his steal again. Free throws are pretty good. Turnovers, elite, according to this site. Fits my team well.
I've said a few things about Cam Johnson, and I've got a little hate in my DMs. I don't hate Cam Johnson. I just think that people like Chris Middleton and maybe Klay Thompson and some people like that are better picks at where they're getting picked than Cam Johnson. I won't be picking up Cam Johnson in any of my leagues, but not because I hate the guy, just because I think that I would rather get a guy that can do his things in and around that 100 to 120.
Do you feel like it's a case of maybe too many cooks there as well? Is he going to get enough ball, enough opportunity?
I think much like that Bradley Beal pick of yours, I think that he's going to be standing in the corner. I think he's going to be taking these high quality shots with the guys around him, like your Bridges and your Dinwiddie. Like Dinwiddie's just going to shoot up shit. I think Cam Johnson's going to be open when he does shoot it, but I'm not sure the volume's going to be there.
And tell me your honest opinion on Dinwiddie.
I would look at him if he's there at 130, but people keep taking him at 100.
So too early right now?
Yeah, too early right now.
Just a bit, he reckons. Just
a bit. See, Ray John Rondo's still there. Chris Paul.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks in his role, isn't there? I mean,
he's only going to play 20 to 22 minutes, isn't he?
Yeah, whether he starts or not, I think is irrelevant. It's I just don't see him having the role there to be fantasy basketball relevant. So I'm up now with the 80th or 81st pick. Probably looking to shore up my bigs a little bit more. I've got a couple of options here, but I know I threw a bit of shade at him on the Knicks preview, but I'm going to draft Mitch Robinson. Hurts my free throw, but shores up my blocks. I'm pretty solid there. My field goal percentage definitely isn't going to get hurt. He isn't passing the ball. Don't really care about assists as I'm punting them anyway. He'll get me rebounds. There's a risk there, maybe, that he doesn't get the kind of minutes that a normal starting center would, but I'm gonna take a bit of a flyer on him.
If this was a real draft and you're playing for coin, would the timeshare with Isaiah Hartenstein worry you?
I don't think. No, not personally. I don't think so.
Okay.
I feel like if Julius Randle gets injured, Hartenstein benefits, and Mitch Robinson, maybe there's an injury on the surface there. But that's the kind of risk you take with picking a player like him.
Yeah, gotcha.
And also fantasy scores told me to.
Yeah. We'll go through notable picks now, just while we've got a little bit of time until Nate's pick. Middleton went at 68, Jalen Green at 70, Jeremy Grant 71, Capella 72, Derek White 73, which is, I believe, his absolute ceiling. 74, Gafford, Marcus Smart at 75, Markel Fultz 76, Rozier 77, pardon me, Jalen Duren 78, Banchero 79, Chris Paul at 80, Robinson 81, MPJ 82, Morant at 83. That's not bad there. Buddy Hield at 84. Johnny Collins is now at Utah, 85, and Anthony Simons, 86. Klay Thompson, 87. That's nice there for Klay Thompson. I reckon he's been slept on.
So I've got 88. Back to me. I'm going to pick up Miles Bridges. I'm going to cop the 10 games. It's around that kind of time where I think you can consider picking him up in the 80s. We know what he's going to do. We know the kind of role he's going to have in Charlotte. Him and LaMelo Ball love playing together. They showed that a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. I like him there, so he's in my team.
Devin Vassell.
Devin Vassell.
Yeah,
I like Devin Vassell. I think you could probably pick. I think this is around the right range to get him to. Maddie, what do you reckon? Devin Vassell in the 89.
Yeah, I like him there. I think that he slid a little bit. I've seen him go in the 70s. I actually really like Keldon Johnson in that sort of 120, that 130 range that I've seen him go in. But I think that just one of those extra guys are going to, I suppose, benefit from Wembanyama just making the team a little bit better.
Tobias Harris went at 93. Trey Jones, 92. Okongwu, 94. Jakob Poeltl, 95. CJ McCollum, 96. We'll go through this. I need a guard. D'Angelo Russell, welcome. At 100.
Yeah, I like it.
Don't mind it.
That's good value.
Yeah, that is. I like that.
People
why are people sleeping on D'Lo? Is it the Austin Reeves factor?
It's Austin Reeves, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. And people just hate him. Like, he was the snitch in that Nick Young scenario. Like, people hate people, so they decide not to pick them up. So I don't need him to be a good bloke. I just need him to be a good basketball player. So
there's a line. Yeah, there is a line. There's a couple of people I wouldn't be picking, but I won't worry about that.
Look, Draymond just went off my board. Speaking of people that I don't particularly enjoy playing, if I'm not worried about points, Draymond Green is a guy that you definitely want in your team, like his rebounds, his assists. Good player.
It's the two guys that I was looking at just both went off the board back to back. So Andrew Wiggins 103, Kuzma 104. I feel like that's late for both of those guys. Now I've got to kind of reset, and this is a perfect example of having to work on the fly, isn't it? When you guys get taken out of your queue, you've got to think on the fly. So I'm going to take Zach Collins. A little bit early, I think. Probably a little bit early to get Zach Collins. Probably could have got him around the 120 mark, maybe.
Yeah,
but starting center.
Picks too early.
Yeah, probably. But probably could have waited. But you got a starting center on a team that's rebuilding. He's going to get minutes, and yes, the Wembanyama effect is probably going to kick in there. But there's some upside in Collins. He showed that last year.
If you want to look at my queue right now with Steven Adams and Mike Conley in there, you'll have a look at a couple homers. But as I said, I would take Dinwiddie with the 100th pick, and I've got him at 108th pick. Looking at the balance in my team, I do need a couple guards, so I will be taking Conley. I just know what I'm going to get. I've got it year in, year out. I know he's 35 years old, but Minnesota need him to be the Mike Conley of old. he's not going to score that many points. He's going to pass the ball around. He's going to set everybody up. There's no real line. Like there's Jordan McLaughlin and blokes like that, but there's no real line, I suppose, heir apparent to the point guard. I'm happy to take Mike Conley. The opportunity will still be there. So
You know what you're getting with him? He's safe as houses, isn't he?
Yep.
You pick up Michael Conley 109 to be the 109th best player.
Yeah, exactly. And when you're punting points, I think that he becomes a lot better player than the 109th best player. So
I thought I was going to get PJ Washington, but turns out someone snagged him at 111.
Maybe a little bit of a homer here and another flyer. It might be a little early for him, but that seems to be the theme for my team. Sadiq Bey at 113, probably wait another round, maybe. But I needed to shore up my threes. He shoots the three ball pretty well and doesn't pass, which suits my assists or my punting assists build.
Yeah, nice. I've got to find some bigs here.
you can slide into my DMs because I've got them all.
You do.
Would you look at someone like Steven Adams? What are you punting?
Punting rebounds.
No, then.
Definitely not Steven Adams.
No. I need big men. And this is about the best of a bad bunch. Aaron Gordon. We'll keep this ball rolling, mate. Actually, I found
Absolutely.
a sleeper. I found a sleeper.
Talk us through it. I won't snake
confident. You can't because I get the next pick. So Nick Nurse has come out and said that this bloke may start alongside Joel Embiid. Paul Reed.
Yeah, right.
He's a high volume guy. He gets points. Yeah, he does get rebounds, but I need a center because the only center on my squad at the moment is Alperen Şengün.
Yeah, you definitely need a center then if Şengün's carrying.
Yeah,
the picks are starting to slow up now. It must be pretty tough for the people still playing at home, which it does at this point of the draft, Mick. We're at 122 now.
Yeah, this is where you try and find the best value, isn't it? As Matty O'Brien sits himself down with another stubby. He has made his way to me. Man. So while you were gone, I was discussing perhaps the greatest 124th pick of all time, Paul Reed. Tell me, does that make you stiff?
Look, it might be a bit early, but I think having Paul Reed on your team isn't a bad thing.
So it makes you stiff. That's nice.
Yeah, I'm like Sammy right now.
Sammy.
It's like 6 to 7:30 more so than a 6 to midnight. For those of you playing at home. After Paul Reed, Gary Trent Jr. and Russell Westbrook go off the board. Russell Westbrook was maybe a guy that I was looking at, and even Gary Trent Jr. with his steals. I know Nath has a pick coming up. What's your queue look like right now? Does it look any more gross than Steven Adams and Denny Avdia in mine?
It looks much better than that. I'm going to go Jordan Clarkson at 129. Suits the build I'm making, but also CLERKSON. What a man. No, it fits the build perfectly. It doesn't hurt me really in any categories. Obviously, except rebounds. I'm not drafting him for that, but the points are there and the role is there for him.
Yeah, sounds good. Sorry, I'm just having a bad time here. I see Keldon, Bogdan, and I've decided to take Josh Hart, just the out of position rebounds, tanking points. He doesn't score too many. And then I'm going to take Steven Adams as well. I may be absolutely stacked at center, but Steven Adams still going to, I suppose, have a place in my heart there.
Yeah,
that only gets me to about 8:15.
Does it win your competitions, though? The heart picks, the homer picks? Because I know you're a big Desmond Bain homer pick in the, second, third round?
Yeah. But I think Desmond Bain just holds, I suppose you end up in that spot. Steven Adams, absolutely no risk taking him at the 133rd pick. He's been a top 100 guy. People are just sleeping on him because he was so injured last year. And I suppose how well the Grizzlies went without him. I think the best position for Jaren Jackson Jr. is that power forward position. So Steven Adams is going to find his way to the floor.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I am going a couple of options here. I was looking at Norman Powell. Don't mind him, but just kind of unsure of his role. So I'm going to go with Danny Avdia. A bit of a sleeper for me, someone that I've kind of watched and probably picked up in the majority of the mock drafts I've done. I like the upside there. I think he's got a role there in Washington this year without Porzingis. So a bit of an upside pick at 1-3. Where was it? 139 or 140.
Nice.
I like
Jaden Ivey, 139. Yeah. For me,
You're-
I'm hoping Colin Sexton makes it to my squad here. It's one pick until mine. I think he'll be nice for points and assists. And yeah, he's 5 foot fuck all, so no rebounds there. Beautiful. It's made it to me. Nice at pick 141. I think he's got top 100 value if he's starting in Utah.
I agree with you. And I think that might round out probably a really good thing that I'd like to mention is that we probably shouldn't punt too early. Like I said, I was punting points at the start. If I took the best available picks in my first pick and my second pick, and it became evident that I was, I suppose, punting points after that, I think that's a good point to decide that you're drafting points, but it's really hard to come into the draft and say that you're drafting points because I'm seeing blokes like Colin Sexton and I'm seeing plenty of people that I'm going to have to pass up due to, and it becomes better value for you guys. It becomes better value for everybody else in the draft because I'm just not taking the best available player. I've almost always drafted with the best available player. And then just traded out or just made my best decision after that. Like, yeah, this is a mock draft, but I definitely don't recommend that you do it.
I love that you've brought that up, and perhaps us at the Insight Fantasy Sports podcast team will do that. We'll go 2 or 3 rounds deep and see where our strengths are and see what we're going to punt, and then decide from when we're going to or what we're going to punt, and show the viewers that, hey, it can be done this way. And your ability to think on the fly is going to be the difference between you being at the top of your league or down towards the bottom. So we highly recommend you do your research.
Absolutely. I mean, bit of a last round pick. What do you recommend with your last round pick? I've gone Tari Eason just as a bit of a kind of upside pick, seeing what happened. I'm actually looking at RJ Barrett, but his field goal percentage and his efficiency just kills me. I just can't do it to myself. But there's upside in Tari Eason. Are you guys looking at like upside picks for your final couple of picks? And then, you can just punt them or drop them if you need to the waivers?
Yep. So with my last pick at 148, I took Rickon Holmes. He's on his way to Dallas. They don't really have a center. He was a fantasy, not god, but fantasy relevant a couple of years ago in Sacktown. If he gets back to that sort of way, then he won't be top 100 value, but he'll still be nice.
I reckon he could be top 100 value in the right punt build, to be honest. I just really rate him, and I just think that there's not much else going on in Dallas there from the center position. I am going with a safe pick this time because I'm just excited about Kyle Lowry still sitting there. If he can be healthy, I just think that he can be a really good pick there at the end. And blokes like Steven Adams just shore up a few spots. Maybe it's a little bit of an upside pick. Because he was so injured last year. But if he was healthy last year, he still wouldn't have been there with that 130-odd pick. But let's look, I'll get up on the screen. Let's start with Nathan's team. Talk us through your team, what you think was the best value, and I suppose starting with your punt build. So
punting assists. Best value, I'd probably say maybe Miles Bridges at 80. He could be anything, this guy. There could be top 50, top 40 value in him. He misses the first 10 games of the season, which is probably equating to him maybe sliding at least 20 spots, I think, in these drafts that we've seen so far. I think picking him up at 80, where was it, 81 or 82 or something like that is real nice. So I'm happy with him. I've obviously got Donovan Mitchell with my, I've got Mitchell, I've got Beal, Brunson, Markkanen, Anthony Davis was picked with my first round pick. Bridges, Jarrett Allen, Mitch Robinson, Zach Collins, Sadiq Bey, Jordan Clarkson, Danny Avdia, and Tari Eason with my final pick. Just quickly, when you're on Yahoo, or for anybody who does their drafts on Yahoo, you can quickly click on the standings, just get a gauge on how you're going and what categories were good, what weren't. Just to confirm my punt build, I'm second last in assists. Which surprises me. I've actually actively tried, but it looks like 6'3" he has tried even harder to punt assists than me. And I think maybe just trying a few. He has done a better job. He's maybe just trying a few different punt builds and things like we've done tonight might give you a bit of an idea on how you want to approach your draft, or whether there's a category that you're favoring a little bit more that you didn't know about or that you weren't wary of. Because for me, punting assist was actually really challenging. It's easy most of the time, but I'm somebody who really prioritizes assists really early on in my draft. Because if you're going to get assists or if you're going to promote them, you need them early. Otherwise, they disappear pretty quickly at the back end of the draft. So, got a little bit tricky at the start of the draft, I guess. Basically, ignore them, which, like you said, you wouldn't do normally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's when I struggle with these things. I don't think that I would ever punt points, I suppose, from the word dot. But anyway, we're doing these mocks now. And if you were, this is where I'd lean. Mick, what were you punting? I've got your team up on the screen. Talk us through it.
Yeah, so I picked up SGA with my first pick. Kawhi Leonard, Fred VanVleet, Cameron Johnson, Evan Mobley, Tobias Harris, Alperen Şengün, Paul Reed, Markelle Fultz, D'Angelo Russell, Aaron Gordon, Colin Sexton, and Raquan Holmes.
What do you think was the best value?
Evan Mobley in the, what round was he picked in? 4th round? I think that's probably
he was
the best
drafted
value pick that I
45th.
have.
Yep.
I think that and D'Angelo Russell at 100. Like, he's their starting point guard. He's just because he had a dud in last year's final series doesn't mean he can't come back and average, 18 and 7. And LeBron's not going to play every night. Anthony Davis is made of the same shit that toilet paper is. Their older statesmen aren't going to play every game. He's going to be prominent in their offense. And Colin Sexton in the 130s, he's got potential to be really nice as well.
Hey, Mick, the toilet paper comment. Anthony Davis actually told me that he was planning on playing 65-plus games so he can be in the running for the player awards this year. So just wanted to let you know in advance.
Does that mean he just checks in and checks back out? Because if he plays full games, he ain't making it to 65.
No, I'm taking the piss. I agree with you. It's a risky pick.
Did you draft him? Did you?
Yeah, I picked him in my first round. Yeah, in this. Honestly, I think
he's playing 40 games.
If there was cash on the line, I don't know whether you'd take that risk.
Mm.
I don't like to make my decisions on injuries, but it's really hard with Anthony Davis, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, what, 3 years in a row? I think he hasn't played more than 50-odd games 3 years in a row. So, the question mark now becomes like, how are LA going to go if LeBron goes down, if AD goes down? Do they shut them down? Could it be one of those years?
Yeah.
I'm concerned. I am concerned for sure.
Yeah, it's an age thing there, isn't it?
Yeah. Talk us through your team, Maddie. How'd you go?
I'm going to go through the punting points build, which I'm not sure I've ever done, and I'm not sure I will ever do. But at point guard, Tyus Jones taken with the 61st pick. Franz Wagner at shooting guard. Buddy Hield. Herbie Bull salivates somewhere. Kevin Durant. Giannis Antetokounmpo. John Collins. Miles Turner. Bam Adebayo. Spencer Dinwiddie. Mike Conley. Josh Hart. Steven Adams. And Kyle Lowry. Obviously, it's really hard to pick good players because good players score points. But I think in any build, I'm pretty happy to take Giannis Antetokounmpo with the 12th pick. Kevin Durant with the 13th pick. Like, let's just bet on pedigree. Kevin Durant's going to be the big doggy on any team, regardless of, your Devin Bookers, regardless of your Bradley Beals. Like, I don't think that takes too much away from the greatness that is Kevin Durant. I suppose maybe him at the 12th pick could nearly be my best value pick. I'm taking Josh Hart in and around that 120th, 130th pick in most builds. And it's probably the most apt, I suppose, because he doesn't score that many points and he gets so many out of position rebounds. It makes him sort of the perfect pick for this build. I know he's there at 130th in a lot of picks, but for this build, that could nearly be the best value out of this whole thing. So,
That's a good show.
Boys, do we have anything to finish up with, or can we wrap this bad boy up?
Yeah, I just don't like your team because you're the owner. That's it.
Cool.
Yep.
Love it. And $1 a pick. What jersey am I wearing?
Ooh.
Follow me on Twitter at SC_Mattrix. Slide into my DMs or do it on the post. PayPal me $1 a pick. I'll donate it to charity if it makes it past $20. But if you get it right, $20 coming your way.
Wow, I can't even tell. It looks like an NBL. Yeah.
It's Brisbane Bullets.
Ooh. Brisbane Bullets.
Yep.
Bang
There's
it.
enough.
Yeah.
There's enough picks. There's enough tips.
Wouldn't be Tyler Johnson.
Oh, 100% no. Tell you what, I've never drafted him in a league.
Anything to wrap up?
Well, I
Super
don't know.
Coach Brain?
No, mate. No, we're all good. Hopefully everybody's all taken something from it. I guess a bit of variety in terms of mocks, like giving you a bit of different perspective on different punt builds. You might not be a punter, but might not be somebody who punts categories at all. So if you aren't, maybe it just gives you a bit of perspective or gives you a different kind of way to approach a draft. But otherwise, we're going to be coming through with plenty more different mock drafts, different punting categories, different kind of team builds and makeups over the next few weeks leading into the season. We've only got it's less than a month now, boys, until the NBA
not long.
tips off again. How good!
Come on, can't wait.
Looking forward to it.
I'm excited for it. Let's wrap this bad boy up. You are listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast. Thanks, fellas.
See ya.